During the last 10 years, I've spent millions of dollars of my own money running paid ads across all platforms. In fact, here's just one account for just one business where I spent over $1 million on Google Ads alone. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the top lessons that I learned spending over $1 million on Google Ads for just one business in one account. And this will help you if you're a business owner. I'm going to share with you important lessons that you need to be aware of so that you can get better results in your sales and marketing campaigns for your business so that you can grow more, increase your revenue, and see better profitability with your marketing efforts. So let's dive in and I'll show you the key lessons that you need to be aware of so you can run better ads. So the first lesson that you need to be aware of to achieve success on Google is the life cycle that you need to take your campaigns through in order to make them successful the right way, using the right structure and bidding methods. So when you first start your Google account, Google will start pushing you towards using all of these various AI style campaigns. So this will be things like using broad match keywords. This will be things like using optimizing for sales campaigns and optimizing for performance max and other various automated AI strategies where Google is going to use a lot of predictions and optimizations on their part to try and get you the best results. Now, these things do work really well, but they don't work when your account is brand new. The reason why is for these things to properly work, Google needs a lot of data on your business and your customers and your ads. Sorry for the terrible handwriting. So when you start, what the situation is that Google's going to push you towards all of these campaigns. If you just follow the Google interface naturally and do what it's telling you to do, it's going to tell you to do all of these things. Now, these things do work once you have data. But when you first start, there is no data. So there's no data. So none of these strategies actually work. So it is a mistake to use these things in the beginning of your account. You need to revisit these strategies later once you have enough data. Then you can get really good results. So where do you start off? The way you should start off your Google account is by doing everything manually. So you start with a manual PPC campaign on phrase match. So what does this mean? So rather than having Google optimize for the best leads or the best customers or for an ROI, you just run your ads the traditional old style way where you give Google a list of keywords and you say that this is how much I'm willing to pay per click, or you can just do an easy way is you just set a maximum cost per click for the whole list and then Google will sort that out for you. And then you run that on phrase match. So what phrase match is, just I'll have other videos that explain this in more detail, but a quick explanation of that is when you give Google your keyword list, you put speech marks at the front and end of every single keyword. And that way Google will expand those keywords out to every keyword that mentions that phrase in that order. So just a quick example. If I put in Apple Watch as a keyword, okay, and I put speech marks at the start and end of it, then it means that any search that someone does that contains Apple Watch, okay, in that order, it will then trigger an ad for this. So if someone search Apple Watch reviews or Apple Watch sale or Apple Watch bands, the ad can appear, okay? But if the alternative to that is something called exact match. So exact match is where there is brackets around the keyword. In this situation, Google will only show the ad when the keyword is exactly Apple Watch and nothing else, okay? And then the alternative is not doing anything at all and just pushing the keyword. That's broad match. Now, broad match works very well when you're using Google's advanced AI features and you're spending a lot of money, because Google can then change the keyword slightly to other very related searches to get you more volume. But the problem is when in the beginning of the account, when there's not enough data and Google is undergoing all of those expansion strategies, it doesn't actually know who your ideal customers are. So it's going to be throwing it in front of all sorts of people and just wasting a lot of money. So that's why when you start a Google Ads campaign and account from scratch, you go back to the basics. You run a manual cost per click campaign on phrase match. Okay. And you can check my other videos for tutorials on exactly how to do this. Or if you want me and my team's help and exactly how to do all of this, we can do it for you. You can check the link in the description. We have an agency called Scale 90 where we help with this. So you start from scratch with the manual CPC phrase match campaign, and you let the data start to come in. Now, here's the thing. When you begin this, the results will only be okay. But you have to be patient. You might only be breaking even or even losing a small bit of money in this scenario. Hopefully you're making a bit of profit, but because it's a manual campaign on phrase match, it's going to be limited in how much scale there is and how much volume you can make because you aren't using those advanced strategies. But you have to go through this period of training and patience so that you can profit later. So what you do is you run this campaign for a while, and it could be, 2-3 weeks. It could even be 1 to 2 months. And once there is enough data where you need to have the tracking in place, which I'll come to later on in this video, you have the tracking in place so that Google is able to see whenever you get a leading customer. And that then slowly trains up the Google algorithm. Then once you have, 100, 200, a few hundred leads that have occurred on this, you can then move to the next stage, which is where you can then use Google's optimize for leads feature. With Target CPA. Then you can move from manual cost per click to then using a basic AI feature where Google will start to implement smart bidding, where it has enough data now to understand who are your leads, and it will then, modify the CPC dynamically for each individual person and, adjust all of the ads in all the ways they do to then optimize for getting you as many leads as possible using the data that they have on your existing lead. And then you do this on Target CPA. So what Target CPA is this is where you give Google a target cost per acquisition. So say, for example, you are willing to pay $15 for a lead. So you say to Google, try to get as many leads as possible at an average target price of $15 each. Then once you have a lot of sales taking place here, and now again, this could take a few weeks, this could take a few months. You want to be here, have all the tracking in place, continue to train your Google account. And then once you have some good performance, some good results coming in from here, you can then jump to the next level of bidding, which is called optimize for sales with the Target CPA. Okay. Now this is the same thing as before, where you say to Google, we want to generate as many of this type of result as possible at a certain target price, but this time it's optimizing for sales. So at this point, where you've gone through stage 1, you've gone through stage 2, Google will now have a lot of data in place where it can see who your customers are, how much they're spending, all of the data on them. It understands who your customers are. Now you can use the smart bidding to get Google to start using their AI features to find you the best customers because there's enough data. We've gone through the process. Then you can also start to involve broad match, and start to get more volume coming in. And then we come to the 4th stage, and this is one of the most lucrative stages, is where you can then run under a Target ROAS. So what this is you can say to Google, this is the ROI that I want to make with my Google ads. So you can put in, say, for example, 200, 300, 400%. You obviously look at the historical data of what ROI you're getting to base it. If your Google ads are getting a 200% ROI, you can't just type in 500% for no reason. You have to put in something proportional to what your ads actually perform at. But what Google can then do is they can then run an ROI. And the way this works is, and this comes into the nitty gritty, where basically Target CPA optimized for sales, this looks at how many sales you're getting, regardless of their value. But if you're in a business where you're charging different prices to different customers, then Google will monitor those values and can then optimize for more profit by going for higher value customers. This is the account lifecycle that you need to build your business on. You first start off on manual cost per click phrase match. You have all of the tracking in place so that Google can see every lead and customer that you're getting so that you can train its algorithms. You don't use any of the AI features in the beginning. You keep it simple, you keep it raw, you keep it plain, you get all the data coming in. Then you can move up to the next level, which is you're optimizing for leads with the Target CPA. You keep the results coming in, you keep training the algorithm. Then you can move to the next level, optimize for sales, target CPA. And then finally, once you're getting good results there, you can come to Target ROAS, and that's where you can start to help have a lot of scale and a lot of profit because things are going well. You went through the whole process, you went through the whole life cycle to start your account the right way. So the mistake people make is they start off with these advanced strategies that require a lot of data right at the beginning, okay? And it never works because there's not enough data for them to work. You have to go through the training process. This is the process that I recommend that you go through. And one thing that I'll mention as well is an important key thing to do is sometimes things don't always work the way they're supposed to. So for example, I'll give you an example of something that happened with this account that I showed you earlier. With this account, the ROI of optimize for sales, target CPA, okay, theoretically, it should give less ROI than a campaign that is specifically optimizing for ROI. Because this one here is only trying to get us sales at a certain target price each, regardless of how much profit we're making. Whereas this one specifically is optimized for how much profit we're making. So theoretically, this one makes less profit than this. This one is supposed to be more profitable, okay? But when I switched to this, it was actually the reverse, which makes no sense. So what happens is sometimes, even when you have the data, when you have a lot of strong results, it's sometimes still too early to make the jump to the other strategy. So what I suggest that you do to test the waters, because if you have great results running, you don't want to mess it up, is always use Google's experiments feature. And I'll have another video on the channel that explains how to use this. But this lets you run a split test where you can run a Google Ads campaign. Say, for example, we're at stage 2 and we think we're ready to go to stage 3, but we don't want to mess the whole campaign up. We want to ease our way into stage 3. Is we can turn on the Google experiment where it will run half the traffic like on method 2 and half the traffic on method 3. And we wait for method 3 to get the good results it's supposed to show before we fully apply the experiment and change the whole campaign. So that is the first key lesson that I want you to understand is there is a life cycle and training process that you have to take your account through. Don't start using all of the AI and automated features right at the beginning because they're not going to work because there's not enough data. Go through this kind of account life cycle process to train your account properly, go through the system and the method, and then you will get the great results at the end once you go through that process. So I have more lessons to share with you, but this video is getting a little bit long. So I'm going to make a second video to go with this soon that will share more lessons from this ad account. But just to summarize, the key thing that I'm sharing with you here is you take your account through the correct life cycle so that you can achieve the best results. So if you enjoyed this and you'd like more videos to help you in your business, in your sales and marketing, subscribe for videos like this. And as I mentioned, we run an agency called Scale 90. And if you're struggling with your marketing right now, and if you'd like me and my team to personally come in and fix that for you and help you grow your business, get more leads and sales at a profit using organic and paid strategies, click the link in the description to apply to work with us. And we can build you a full custom marketing system to help you in your business to get better results. And we can do these things for you, the kind of strategies I'm sharing with you in the video. So if you'd like our help, check the link down below. And thank you for watching and subscribe for more videos like this.